What's up, guys? Today I'm going to be taking you along on a round at Tall Firs Disc Golf Course in Monroe, Washington. Today I'm going to be playing the red layout, which is the shorter of the two layouts on the property. Tall Firs is a pay-to-play course that is being designed by John Houck, so you can expect to play some fantastic disc golf on the property. And I would consider this one of my home courses when I am based in the US, so I'm very familiar with all of the holes on the property. And this is an old golf property that has been repurposed for disc golf in the last 10 years or so. And with that, you have these perfectly mowed fairways, but you do also have tall grass that acts as rough before reaching OB on adjacent fairways on most of these holes. These will be specified on the tee pad signs when adjacent fairways are OB and when not. There are also a few holes on the property where the short and long layout share a tee pad on some of the par 3s, hole 2 being an example of one of them. On the red layout, you're definitely looking to shoot under par. Generally speaking, when I play the red layout, I'm looking to shoot in the double digits under par, and it's definitely a fun challenge to see how far under par you can shoot every time you play out here. The red course is definitely a feel-good course, as the long and short layouts do share pars on all of the holes, meaning that the red layout, par 4s and 5s, will play a lot softer, and you'll even give yourself some eagle opportunities if you throw a little bit further. Hole 3, however, is one of the trickier holes on the property on both the short and long layout, so this is one of the short holes that you can actually excuse yourself if you do end up taking that par. I did have a putt at the birdie, but unfortunately just chained out a little bit right side. Hole 4 is another hole where the long and shorts share a tee pad, a very straightforward hole. Just throw it right at the basket, ideally giving it a little bit of an ace run, and not too much danger as long as you're keeping it down that center cut fairway. Moving on to hole 5. Hole 5 is one of the shorter par 4s on the course, and this is an eagle opportunity for some of the bigger arms out there. It does play very slightly uphill, and you definitely have to choose whether you want to play that left side turnover like I was trying, or if you have that power hyzer to go around the right side towards the basket. Unfortunately, I pulled my drive over a little to the right, leaving me with this blind approach as I tickle some of those fir trees. I was very fortunate to not go further inside of the fir tree, as they are very thick and normally do make it very challenging whether you're putting or trying to throw your approach shots on some of the longer holes. Hole 6, another eagleable par 4, coming in at 365 feet, 111 meters. This one does play very slightly downhill, but you don't have much of a choice in what line you play, so you do have to go that power hyzer route. And then depending on how much power you do have, you can choose to throw over the trees or play a little bit shorter like I do, as I don't have the power to get all the way to the pin on that pure hyzer line. Which leaves me with this putt for birdie. It is worth noting that this green is particularly fast when it comes to skips and does slope very slightly back away from the tee pad, so it is very easy to go long if you're throwing straight at it. Hole 7 is a very short par 3, possibly one of the shortest holes on the property. Very easy sidearm, straight shot. Try not to complicate it too much, but in general, there is this drop off behind the basket, and it would be preferable to actually play it long, have that comeback coming up the hill, rather than leaving it short and giving yourself a death putt. Hole 8 is an open sidearm hyzer, where the basket is on one of these tiny little mounds, where again, the preference would be to go long and have a comebacker back up at the basket, rather than leaving it short, where there's that dangerous group of trees. Hole 9 is a tricky par 4, although the distance isn't very long. There are tons of trees to find in the fairway and a 2 guardian trees once you get up towards the green that make it very hard to give yourself an eagle putt on this hole if you have the distance for it. On this hole, it is so important to trust your disc and your own abilities out to the left and have it drift right the entire way so that you don't end up in this bush line, tree line that I ended up in this time. And from the trees, there's not much that can be done, so you're just trying to pitch out and hopefully walk away with your par. Hole 10 is one of the trickiest par 3s on the course, a very technical sidearm hole where I think the line is this sidearm hyzer flip, where you're trying to flip something up the flat and then have it fade out late. I early released this shot a little bit and got extremely lucky to go through the inside corner, which I honestly have never seen happen until today playing this round. So I consider myself really lucky grabbing the birdie there. Hole 11, another short par 3, just a flat shot that hyzers out towards that little barn. I ended up putting a little bit too much anhyzer on this shot and drifting right a little bit. Fortunately, I threw something very overstable in my harp, so I didn't go too far past and give myself a long look at that birdie still. And this then should be an easy tap-in. However, the basket had different plans for me, taking a very unfortunate bogey on a very birdieable hole. Hole 12, seemingly no danger. The only thing you can't do is go into those massive trees off to the right side of your screen, which is where the long tee pad of hole 1 is. And then we move on to hole 13, our par 5 of the day. On the red layout, it's coming in at 699 feet or 213 meters. There are a couple of mandos along the fairway that are all mandos left to prevent any big backhand hyzers being played over these houses off to the right side. And I've managed to flex my sidearm perfectly to punch out of the gap, and that gave me a perfect look to throw another power sidearm, try to give myself a look for eagle. And I actually ended up surprising myself here and going deep of the basket, having a comeback eagle putt. And this was the first time I've actually managed to get that eagle on hole 13. So that was very satisfying to get. Hole 14 is coming in at 196 feet, 60 meters. There is a mando left, which makes this backhand turnover line very touchy. Also having that OB right side, which I end up pushing really close to, as you can see there, but did stay in bounds, leaving myself with a little bit of a death putt, but nothing to worry about today, as I did feel confident in my putt. Hole 15, we're playing a short backhand hyzer hole towards the basket on the edge of a very precarious slope, and it is very easy to roll into the water if you do end up going slightly long. This time I erred on the side of caution, left mine a little bit short, maybe a little bit shorter than I would have liked, leaving myself with an edge of circle birdie putt, which I do convert this time. Hole 16 is the shortest par 4 on the course, coming in at only 300 feet, 91 meters. Plays perfectly for this wide left backhand turnover line. And again, I didn't really trust my disc out far enough left, which leaves me challenging this big tree off to the right side of the green. These branches were a lot more in my way than I would have liked, and at this point I was really close to pushing for my personal best, so I really wanted to give this a solid run for eagle, and ended up pushing a little bit too long and giving me this outside circle look for a birdie putt, which I do not convert on this time. Hole 17, 214 feet, 65 meters. Pretty simple hole, so much space out to the right. If you want to try that ace run line, you're trying to go up that middle gap, which I was trying to do with a straight putter, or you can play a wider hyzer out to the right and hopefully skip in just past these two guardian trees. Hole 18, another very eagleable par 4 for some of the shorter irons too. There is a Mando that is a Mando right late into the fairway, so I'm trying to play this very aggressive flex shot line, throwing it straight at the Mando, trusting my disc to drift right a little bit and hopefully give myself a long outside look at an eagle, which I gave a fairly decent effort at this time, but just didn't really connect on the drive to give me a more reasonable look, giving me a final score of 13 under par or an even 50. If you enjoyed what you saw, don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe for more content.